Hey guys, Spiritual Path Seeker here, and this is going to be I think this will end up being a new series on getting started with rock hounding. Where to look for rocks, what to look for, what kind of equipment do you need. And there's all different equipment, and you don't need that much. It's not, it depends though. There's different types of rock hounding that might need more equipment. But this video is going to be about where to look. Where should I look for rocks? Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so before we talk about where to look for rocks, the question is, what are you looking for? What are you really looking for rocks? What kind of rocks are you looking for? That I'm going to go into in another video, but to start off, ask yourself, what's gotten you into this hobby? What intrigues you? And that'll begin to help you understand what kind of, there's a lot of different avenues you can go in this hobby. It's a really big hobby. And maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know. You just have a general thought about and you haven't narrowed it down, which is fine. So let's start off at the very ground level. Is as many spiritual teachings teach of awareness. Start off with awareness. So believe it or not, rocks are all around us, and they're in us, in our bones. We've got almost like rocks, and our teeth are pretty strong. So, and if you look all around, the streets have rocks in them. Our buildings, we've got jewelry. Some of us wear rocks. We eat rocks. We eat salt. Salt is halite. It's a crystal that we eat. And so the more you look around, you might be surprised at how much it's all around us. And if you look at life itself, there's so many filters we can look at life through. So we can look at the colors around us. We can look at the other people around us. We can listen to sounds. What kind of sounds are coming at us? We can feel the temperature. But as rock hounds, we start focusing on what kind of rock is around us. So that's the first practice. Just start observing what's around you already, where you're at. You don't have to go anywhere. Almost start looking around your own household. What have you got? People have different little objects that are made of different stone. Look at that. What kind of stone might you think that might be? Some little statue that you got, or some little award that you got that has a marble base. Look at that marble. Start observing things around you. And as you take a walk, look at the buildings. Look at the stone in the buildings. Does it look different from the other building that you see at the other end of the street? Especially older buildings have real stone in them, and a lot of times that stone can be local stone from a quarry nearby. So this is the first practice, just taking a walk in a park when you're on the beach. Other people just, they're looking at different filters. They're looking at the beauty of the ocean, or they want to play volleyball on the beach. There's a lot of things you can look for, the birds, But as a rock hound, you begin looking at the sand. What color is the sand? And the pebbles. What kind of pebbles are you finding along the beach there? Are they rounded? Yes, they most likely are, because of being grinding with each other over a long period. Are there some fossils in there? So this is where you start. You start looking around and asking yourself, and then you'll start having questions like, I wonder where this rock did come from, this kind of greenish rock on this building down the street. Where did that come from? Why is it green? And you can start looking into that. So that's a very beginning the step of where to look, the answer is everywhere. Just all around you, rocks are part of our life. The metal that we use, that in a knife that we cut our meal with, that comes from iron ore and chromite. You know, that this was mined and then smelted down, but originally it was all just rocks. So that's the beginning. Now, then as you start doing that, you might ask yourself, you might start seeing other things. You might start branching out, like as you take a walk in the park, do you find yourself more interested in the soils and the clay? There's a lot of times when I'm looking for rocks, I'll run across different clays. I've learned about some of it a little bit. Some of it was rock that has decayed over time and has turned into this soft material that clumps together more than dirt. Dirt doesn't clump together like that, and it has that texture of clay. And there are actually people who go out and collect clay. And I'm not a clay collector, but they collect it, and some people even use it then to create pottery. So that's an exciting, I run across it all the time. I'm not a clay collector. So, but I see it when I'm out there. Other people are interested in water, how the water is flowing underground. This is part of geology. Geology is the overall science for rocks and minerals, but geology really covers all of the earth sciences, it's called, right? So how the water is actually flowing under the surface of the earth through whatever ways it does that is part of geology. And also, when you start going out and you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to go out into specific places to look for rocks. Okay, and we'll talk about how you can find some of those places. But first, just staying general right now. Let's say you go out and you get to one of these places and you start looking. You're going to see things other than just rocks. I have found, as a rock collector, I have found old bottles that are very interesting. I've got this. This is an old Moxie bottle that I found while looking for rocks. It's probably 120 years old. I still have to clean it. I don't know how to clean bottles. I'm not a bottle guy. But this thing's probably worth somewhere like $50. You know, I found it on a pile of dirt where they were doing excavation near a railroad track. So, and I also found an old a stone sphere that was used as a bottle stopper back then. They had different types. So you can get into bottles. I've run across bottle things, and I pick them up, but I'm not a bottle guy. But you might be a bottle person. So you run across all these neat things like fossils. You might find, oh, this is like, what's this shell inside this rock here? It's like actually millions of years old, and people really get into all the different types of fossils that can be found. You might, and I'm talking about even beyond rocks here. So like as you're out there, you might find arrowheads and what are called, we really use the word points because we don't know, was this arrowhead, was this artifact used as an arrowhead, or was it a knife, was it a scraper, was it a spearhead? You know, they don't always know that. So a lot of times we'll use the term points. I have found them along the way, and I've specifically looked for them because I think that really does well with rock hounding. It's cool rocks, and it's you know, it's part of the, it's a very similar thing from looking for rocks. You will also some people, okay, so that's things that some things that you might encounter. But let's say if we're looking for rocks and minerals themselves, even there you might find you're more interested in crystals, or you might find you're more interested in rocks that have metal ores in them. A lot of people are very much into metal ore. They like to find the iron ore, the pyrite, lead, galena, copper, and of course the gold, right? So to do that, you can do panning. It's a lot of fun to do panning. I still have not found a flake of gold, but I learned how to pan, and it's very interesting. Okay, so some people do not look for rocks that, like I myself, I like to find rocks that are kind of pretty. That's what I like. Okay, but some people are not interested in that. They're interested in understanding how did the earth here get formed? How did these layers, how did it all happen? What's the history? And they want to find the rock in the specific location, and then they make a collection, and they can show, okay, across this area, I found this one here, I found that one there, and I found this one here. I wonder if there's a pattern happening. And it's kind of like, I don't want to say a football game or a chess game, or they can put it together and see patterns. And that's more science as such. That's geology, and it's very important to understand for agriculture and for mining and those sorts of issues. So what I'm saying is, this is like, when looking into this is, but don't get too heavy into all of this. I'm just saying, what I'm trying to say is, there's a whole world here to look into, and it's exciting, and so don't close off anything at the beginning or even later, you know. So okay, so that's just to give you a sense of like some of the kind of things that are waiting for you. But you don't have to do any of them if you don't want to. You're doing what you enjoy. So that's the thing. So I myself, like, if they say fisher people go out just to go out, even if they don't catch a fish, it's great. They were out in nature. It's very similar being a rock hound. You go out, you get out to nature, and you see some very interesting things that a lot of people don't even realize that are there. So now I'll get into this more in another video of how to find sites to look for, and some apps you can get, and of course you can join a local club and all that sort of thing. But what I'm trying to say is here, before you do anything official or anything, it's fun just to go out and look. Wherever you are, that's all you have to do. and don't listen to anybody. Like, if you like how a rock looks, it's good. You like it. That's all that matters. And I just think, especially wherever rock is exposed, you can go there and look around, and my motto is, every site has something interesting that I might find interesting. So I guess I'll just leave it at that. I'll just add it, just again, that note that, yeah, I got into some details there just to let you know there's a whole world out there, but don't be concerned about that. We're not trying to change the world or something. We're trying to enjoy ourselves. And though some folks, if you want, you can go way into this, way more into it beyond a hobby. It could become a whole job. So it's a door, like I have behind me here. You can open the door and it takes you to a new place. And just be curious. So that's the main thing. Just look around, what's around you now, and are there rocks exposed? And as you look, you'll start learning. And of course, if you get a basic book and so forth and start reading, that will increase your ability to look for what know what you're looking for, and it'll evolve then. So I hope this gets you started. Just get out there and look and just enjoy. And that's the as you do that, I have to say, like, sometimes I think with hobbies, the very beginning is sometimes the most fun part. And however, I must say, with this particular hobby, it remains fun. So for all these years, I just find things that are fun about it. And so I always say, as I say in my videos, so get out there and keep looking down. Though, okay, if you're going to look in the city, you can look up too. Your buildings are covered in granite and marble and interesting fossils, believe it or not, in the limestone that's in some of these older historic buildings. You never know. So keep looking down or up. Okay.